I am live. It says I am live. Hello, peoples. A few people in here already. It looks like possibly, or have dropped in from time to time. If anybody's in here and can actually hear me, that'd be great. If you could share that. Looks like Steph was in here briefly. Dell, BJ, BJ. A lot of J's going on. Those folks appear to have been BJ. We're going to turn down the tape delayed version. We have Kevin in the house. Muffy. Haven't spoken to Kevin recently. I hope all is well with you and Jen. Having a bit of coffee tonight. Still on the sobriety kick. Look, I've got Mark over my shoulder. Will he lurk tonight? Let's see what we got going on here. Ronnie C. Hey, Ronnie. Welcome to us. Welcome aboard. Matt Wilson in the house. Hello, Explore Vegas. Glad to have you with us. Blair. I can't afford to drink, so I can only drink when Blair is around because he buys all my drinks. BJ's back. Gambling Granny, thanks for dropping in. Walt's better half, Tina, thank you for dropping by. I am always impressed with the number of folks who appear, it seems, in nearly every live stream that I drop into. I am impressed with your ability to set through all this, and I'm very impressed if any of you managed to set through tonight's festivities. Walt, great to see Walt in the house. Duder! Real question tonight is Duder wearing any pants? I'm not really wearing any pants. I'm wearing my a pair of shorts and my lady shoes, as Mark likes to call them. They're very comfortable. Right. Yeah, I know. I think Walt and Tina, and I would probably know this if I actually tuned into all the live streams that I miss. I think they're headed to Vegas very soon. It's been a while. So looking forward to seeing what their impressions are there. Candy in the house. Many better halves here tonight. It is not officially 8 o'clock here for a little while. I just decided I would go live to sort of make sure everything is working. And it kind of is. If anybody has any clever, for some reason my phone, which is a new, well, it's pretty new. My new OnePlus T9 super phone thing always wants to invert my image on StreamYard, so I'm upside down. And as disorienting and pleasing as that might be to me, I don't know that I want to put everyone through that. So we're doing this on the tablet again tonight. But it seems pretty stable. See if we've missed any visitors. Yes, chat amongst yourselves. That'll be a good way for everybody to get to know one another. I did notice that Steph had been kind enough to go live as a preview of tonight's show. I don't know that going live before this show is actually going to get you a major boost of viewers. I mean, we're hardly cheers or friends or something. A busy time, I know, for a lot of folks. I know definitely a few people still out there working tonight, as I might have been if I was still in my Walmart management position that I was in last year. Getting to be that time of the season. You know, today, I like to warn people about things. Someone asked me if we had any turkeys, and we didn't have any turkeys. we had some pre-cooked turkey, but so there may definitely be some shortages in the turkey department. I wanted to say that there are plenty of turkeys in the store. I'm looking at 2 of them, but they frown on that sort of thing. And Candy has just left work, also living in the world of, well, in her case, we'll say specialized retail. Dell back in the house. I've been pretty good, Dell. I've been pretty good. Just working, resting, playing. So yeah. But yeah, tonight we are gonna. There's 3 things we're gonna do tonight. And we'll see how close to the script I can stay. Obviously, if you all go completely over the edge, I can't be held responsible. Andy is a legal drug dealer. Candy, are you one of these legal drug dealers that you give people shots, don't you? I can come to get my flu shot from Keno Candy, I think. We got Blair in the house. The Matt. Did I say hi to Matt? Matt Wilson is still in the house. I hope I did. Denise in the house. Welcome, Denise. Did someone say, oh, Neil's here all the way from down under? Thanks for dropping in, Neil. But yeah, we're going to, I guess I can very briefly, once we get started, cover my upcoming trip to Vegas, which is now, well, more or less finalized. So I thought I would announce that once we get past the 8 o'clock hour. And then going to cover my 2 most memorable trips to Vegas in some minor details tonight. Explore Vegas. Yeah, I said hello. Kia. Welcome, Kia Bell. Welcome, Ika Stewart. I'm sure I'm pronouncing that incorrectly, as I am wont to do. All right, you gave Keno Kid his COVID shot. Yeah, the pharmacist at the store was not as adept with the needle as the nice nurse at the mass vaccination clinic. It actually sort of was painful. I got my triple booster shot, my double half cap cappuccino COVID shot. But yeah, so welcome to Kia. And yeah, still seeing, watched some last night, still seeing plenty of Rocktober videos. And it's almost Rocktember, so to speak. I'm sure it will soon be Markcember. You know, Mark is headed out in a couple of days. Steph, thanks for joining us once again, right on time. But yeah, I'm going to cover a couple of my 2 most memorable trips to Vegas, which we'll talk about as the day goes along. And because you people love this stuff, well, 2 or 3 of you love this stuff, we're trying some spicy chip snacks tonight. That's right. We've got 3 different snacks we're going to try tonight. And these are going to be in wrong order, but we got these Lay's stacks that claim to be on fuego. We got these Takis or Takis or whatever they're called. I've never had these before. And then we also, I was at the cash register, we picked up some Flamin' Hot Funyuns. So we're going to try these as the day goes along, as the night goes along. And we're going to try to get out of here in an hour. That's the plan. All right, let's see. We got in the house, up and on our way. Welcome to the live. I see that Triple Ripple is here. There we go. Thanks for joining us, and Tamara as well. So great. Nice having everybody here. It is 8 o'clock, and I don't know how many people are actually in the house. It's like we got about 20 folks, and we'll probably have another dozen or so working their way in and out over the next 30 to 60 minutes, which is all good. Still on the coffee. still on the sobriety kick. Kevin, welcome all the way from Dublin. Thank you for dropping in. And I see that L and D are in the house. Lisa and Drew, thank you for dropping in. We'll give it a couple more minutes as I see a number of folks are dropping in exactly at 8 o'clock. We'll pretend this is a premiere. We'll pretend there's a countdown clock under my head that's counting down from 2 minutes to whatever that time frame is. Oh, yeah. Lisa and Drew also headed to Vegas next month. That's exciting. I don't know. When is Vegas Best Ideas heading back to Vegas? They've been gone for almost like a month or 6 weeks already. I'm surprised they're not back. And I probably missed that too on one of the many live streams that I've missed. And Vegas to Cali, giving us a nice shortcut as to who's actually in the room here by saying hello to everybody. Let me see if I missed anybody listed there. I don't believe so. 64 days away for Muffy. I believe they're headed out in late January. And Explore Vegas, thank you for letting me promote YouTube channel. Oh, absolutely. And by the way, I mean, I always describe the Facebook group as a mile wide and an inch thick, so I wouldn't necessarily expect an enormous response. But any of you that have a channel and want to share a new video that's hopefully somewhat Vegas related, please feel free to do so. When we were first starting out, we were suffering from having very few members and a few who decided that the way they were going to promote their own channel was just to share a video like every day or 2 or 3 times a day, and that got a bit old. But obviously, any of you all with a channel, please do feel free to share it. And Explore Vegas has done that. There we go. All right. Okay, we've given everybody a couple minutes, and looks like we're about where we want to be. So first off, wanted to announce my upcoming trip to Vegas, and it's still quite a ways off. It is probably a no surprise that I will be there in the month of March, and I will be there for the really the social event of the season, the Keno wedding, which I was kind enough, they were kind enough to invite me to it. So I'm actually going to be there. And in addition to that, I'll be arriving in Las Vegas on St. Patrick's Day, which also happens to be the beginning of March Madness. Pretty crazy week to get married, but hey, sure there's some kind of reason for it. Yeah, so yeah, I'll be arriving on the afternoon of the 17th and headed back pretty early on the morning of the 23rd. Still do not have all of the hotel arrangements in place. The last 3 nights are going to be easy and get comped pretty much everywhere. But we will figure out exactly what we're going to do on those first 3 nights. I have a couple of different ideas. I have some Wyndham points that I might be able to utilize as well. But looking like maybe Bally's the first couple of nights is pretty reasonable as well. But looking forward to that. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people, including many of them in the house tonight, who will be there as well. And like I said, it should be the social event of the season. If by the season you mean spring. And I'm kind of excited to be there during the March Madness, even though I'll miss part of day 1. Definitely have a history of being a big college basketball fan. Not as much in recent years, but definitely a big basketball fan. I think I've watched all the condensed NBA games since the start of the season, which it's a little bit of a commitment. But anyway, so that's the first announcement. And like I said, as we learn a little bit more about where I'm staying and anything else I might be doing, And like I said, I know a lot of people are headed there to town, and I'm not sure if I'm going to be solo on this trip or not. It is going to be a very busy month for the designated female, who I think is probably still sleeping and not joining us tonight. So I don't know if it's going to work for her to be there, maybe for part of the time. But yeah, but I'm sure there'll be a lot of folks there. I know, I believe Crystal, who I've been trying to meet for the last couple of years, is planning to arrive, I think, also on the 17th. So we'll definitely have to play some double bonus together. Should be fun. All right, so that's the first announcement of the day. Let me take a look at the chat. It's hard to keep track of all this with everybody in the house. Oh, well, Blair, thank you for joining the Vegas Tips and Tricksters, our little membership here on Vegas Tips and Tricks. Much appreciated. All right, let's see here. Sorry for the thing here. Got Neil, Kevin, Happy. All right, seeing, making sure I haven't missed anybody that might have dropped into the house. March Madness, that's right, March Madness. Yeah, March Madness is definitely a American thing. Yes, that is an RSVP, Kino. Event of the season, Kino Madness. That could be what it is. Wow, I didn't realize that, Dell. That's really interesting. The 2-year Vegas shutdown anniversary. I see Vino was in the house. I don't know if he's still here, but thanks for dropping in. 60-second cocktails. If you've been missing cocktails from PJ, I think he's taken a break from bartending, but definitely check out 60-second cocktails. He comes up with some very interesting drinks. Lots of big balls. I don't know about that. But, all right, well, there you go. So that's that. All right. So before we get started on the second most memorable trip, yeah, we'll like I said, we don't know about the +1 yet. Hopefully, although, yeah, that could end. Might not be the only wedding. Yeah. Okay. All right. So we're gonna try these hot and spicy snacks. Hey, Seeking Vegas Sunrise, welcome aboard. Glad you could drop in. Whew. Okay, this is the Lay's Stacks. You can't actually read this. I don't know why. Flamas. They are. They're Flamas. They are Mas Caliente and Que Rico. They're also like $1.50. These things are at the grocery store. So, they don't smell too painful. Probably should get a few of them. All right. So we've got, this is what they look like. Kind of marginally scary looking. All right, so we're trying the Lay's Stacks Llamas. Oh no. It appears Christina has been in a headache fort all day. A headache fort. No, do not book the chapel for 4. Yeah. No. A double wedding. But, okay. This has got a little heat. I got some iced tea here, so should have maybe got some milk. Not sure what really not getting a whole lot of flavor outside of the heat. But yeah, it's actually got some spice to it. Oh, there we go. So heat-wise, I give the Lay's stacks a decent score on that. 3 stars out of 5 for heat. I'm not really getting much as far as flavor, but you know, we're searching for heat anyway. Let's check back into the chat. Designated female. Yeah, maybe a date. Who knows? There's definitely a girl. Andy's ears pick up. Yeah, that would be a shocker. Don't hold your breath just yet. All right, Christina and Anthony, yes. Double wedding, no. Okay. Kevin is out of the room. Blair, L&B. Stacy's pita chips jalapeno flavor. I'll try them now. All right. Yeah, Blair is my +1. Yeah. If I was basing it solely, I think Blair is my sugar daddy. That's right. My alcohol daddy. All right, let's purge the palate a bit. These don't really sort of sustain much of a burn. It's pretty much on the tip of your tongue. You taste it immediately, but not really a back of the throat thing. I think it would accumulate a bit over time. So the more of them you eat, the more you probably would notice that. So, all right, what are we? Keep talking. Yeah, sugar daddy. What are we eating? Oh, Mark in the house. Penny's in the house. Thanks for dropping in. We are trying a number of spicy snacks today. And this is the first one we tried, was the Lay's Stacks, the Flamas Mas Caliente Que Rico from Lay's. I don't know if they have these in Canada. And a decent spice. I like them. All right, we've got 2 more spicy snacks coming up, but I wanted to talk briefly about the about my 2 most memorable trips to Vegas. And the first one is the 2003 road trip, which featured not only myself, but my friends JT, Jason, and Chris. I was in Vegas at least 7 times as I counted throughout my life with JT, and with Jason 6 times. Most recently, only about 4 years ago. So oddly enough, Chris was the only time I was in Vegas with Chris. Chris kind of went through a gambling phase where he played a lot of poker locally, and then I think he realized he wasn't that good. So he kind of got out of the gambling game, but so we all decided we would road trip to Vegas. Part of that probably was because I had done it the year before with my friend Krista. Definitely, you want to, if you're going to road trip to Vegas, at least from 1,300 miles away, definitely have more than 2 drivers. That's or make sure that you're stopping along the way. 4 drivers worked out pretty good. And we kind of set it up on a rotation. Everybody did like 325 miles. And I got to do the last 325 miles into Las Vegas because it was assumed that I would actually know how to get around a little bit. I think that's what I told them. I'm not sure that was true, but yeah, we didn't get lost. We found our way around. Yeah, we left like mid-afternoon on a Saturday, which really wasn't the smartest thing to do, but I think actually some people may have worked early that morning. And we headed south from Kansas. There's basically a couple of ways you can go to Las Vegas. You can go across the Rockies on I-70 through Denver and out to Grand Junction, and then south west through Utah all the way down to Vegas. The other way to go, which it involves a lot less big mountains, is to head south through Wichita, Oklahoma City, and then across the panhandle of Texas, Amarillo, Albuquerque, Gallup, Flagstaff, etc. So, and then you cross over like the Hoover Dam on the way. So that's the way we drove out to Vegas. And yeah, it was pretty nondescript. We stopped in Emporia, Kansas at a Brahms. I don't know if anybody is from this part of the country that would recognize Brahms, but it's one of those regional sort of fast food chains that only exists within a small area. They make ice cream and they have some pretty good burgers. And it's one of those places that if you grew up in certain parts of Kansas, you stop there because you can't get it just everywhere. And by the time we left there, it was already getting dark. So I was glad not to be driving all night in the dark. Wichita, Oklahoma City, pretty nondescript. I think I slept through Amarillo. We got there well before morning, if anybody knows that song. And then we stopped somewhere in Oklahoma City, stopped somewhere in New Mexico to get gas. And then we noticed our driver was driving on one eye. It's not really a good idea. Chris had somehow picked up an allergy or something, or perhaps the occasional cigarette that was getting smoked in the car was bothering him. But we noticed that one of his eyes had basically closed. And we thought maybe it was a good idea for him not to drive anymore, since it was already dark and he'd been up all day and he had no depth perception. So we relieved him of that obligation. Chris was and is an interesting fellow. Yeah, so into the morning, we went through Gallup, New Mexico. I think we actually might have gotten something to eat there. And then at some point, and then we stopped in Winslow, Arizona. We stopped at a Walmart in Winslow, Arizona, hopefully to get something for Chris's eye, which I think actually worked out. I did stand on a corner in Winslow, Arizona, as another song would indicate. But and at that point, I believe that's when I took over driving, because I do remember driving through downtown Winslow, where they actually have a little statue commemorating the song "Take It Easy." If you're not familiar with that, an Eagles hit from the early '70s. So there you go. And then it was a pretty nondescript trip the rest of the way. We did make it over Hoover Dam. No one seemed interested in stopping. At one point, we thought about stopping in Laughlin for a night. But as we got closer and closer to Vegas, no one really wanted to stop in Laughlin. We just wanted to drive straight through. So we made it into Vegas on, I guess, what it would have been Sunday afternoon at that point, on the 12th of April. And we didn't have any place to stay because we booked something for 3 nights, but not that night. We went downtown and parked at the old Lady Luck. And it proved to be lucky, because within about 30 minutes of arriving there, playing some, oh God, what was the name of that? What's the name of the poker game where you like put out 3 chips and then you can pull one back? Let It Ride, I think. Yeah, Let It Ride. Chris won $1,000 in like 30 minutes of playing Let It Ride on like a side bet. And so he decided he'd get us a couple of rooms right there at Lady Luck. And so that's where we spent the first night. And then the next day we moved over to what was then the Las Vegas Hilton. And the next 3 days are rather blurry. We had to stop at the liquor store. I think it was a Lee's liquor store, actually, down in the sort of southeast, I guess, maybe of like Mandalay Bay, Luxor, that area. Yeah, so for the next couple of days, we hung out there and made our way up and down the strip. And like I said, we drank early in the morning, which is not a really good plan. So there were a couple of days we were already hung over by mid-afternoon. The other thing I remember is other than the fact that I lost everything that I intended to gamble. I didn't have as much money at the time, but yeah, that was a interesting trip. The 4 of us. As I say, JT proved to be quite the Vegas veteran, and he and I would return to Vegas. He said 6 times he would be in Vegas when I was there, and a couple of times we basically went just he and I. So he knew how to entertain himself in Las Vegas, which is very helpful. And that we almost couldn't get Jason to leave. Um, he seriously was like, no, let's just stay. But in any case, and the other thing I remember about that trip, and we talked about college basketball, so we'll revisit it, was it was during that trip, and we saw it on the TV screen at the old ESPN zone at New York, was Roy Williams, who had been the coach at the University of Kansas here in Lawrence for like 15 years. During that trip, announced that he was going to take the job at North Carolina. So that's where we saw it. And so we were kind of bummed about that as well. But, yeah, so we wandered around. I think, I can't remember, I don't think anybody wanted to go up in the Stratosphere Tower with me, which was kind of disappointing. I think a couple of the gentlemen did agree to visit a gentleman's club with me, but there was nothing particularly. It was Olympic Gardens. There wasn't anything particularly scandalous or interesting that happened there. And the trip back was again fairly nondescript. We all got like I was gonna say trucker uppers, but they really weren't. It was just like caffeine pills that. The people in the back seat were supposed to be resting while the driver and the person in the front seat were driving, but we kind of stayed awake a long time. We got kind of lost in Colorado. Well, you can't really get lost. We were on I-70, but we needed gas, and we ended up finally pulling off the road and pulling into this gas station, which I do not make these things up because I don't have to. The name of the gas station or convenience store was Gay Johnson's. Just kind of an odd name. And there were like guys just kind of hanging around Gay's Johnson in the middle of the night. It just kind of had a creepy feeling. But we got our gas and we moved on our way. We gave Jason the keys to the car at that point, and he drove very, very fast from the front range of the Rockies all the way into most of the way through Kansas, I think. But and we lived, all of us. But as I said, it was really cool just to do that with a bunch of guys. I don't know that I have any great desire to do it again, but it certainly was packed with some interesting memories, and definitely goes down as my number 2 most memorable trip to Vegas. There you go. Can't get this kind of entertainment on Say Hi to Matthew. I'll tell you that. All right. So I've been just pontificating. Let's see if there's been anything interesting going on in the chat. El Taco delivery, yeah. Right. Delivery in the snow. Yeah. Basically is Ronnie C remembers Brahms. Cool. Okay. I need a co-host, maybe one of these days. Someone can keep track of this. I'd really like to stop in Barstow. Yeah, Barstow is. I guess this will be a quick side note trip. I once took Amtrak to Las Vegas. That did not show up as one of the most memorable trips. It didn't even make the honorable mention, which is kind of surprising. But you couldn't actually take Amtrak to Las Vegas. You could take it to LA, and from LA they ran basically a Greyhound bus back to Las Vegas. It was a pretty roundabout way to get there, but it was kind of cheap and it seemed like something interesting to do. And so we were driving to Vegas, I think, on Sunday night, and then we came back like Thursday. I stayed there 5 nights at the Plaza, which was very convenient to the bus station, although it won't be for long. So that was an interesting trip. They stopped in Barstow. I remember that. Got to see the Baker temperature thing, and got to see the enormous number of people leaving Las Vegas on a Sunday evening. So there you go. Let's see what else. Drank in the morning. Yes, NESTR drank in the morning. Someday I'll tell a good story about Gay Johnson's. It's a real place. Maybe it's not a real place. Maybe it was part of some psychedelic trucker upper dream condition that we had. JP be watching chat. Yeah, JP, I believe, has been detained somewhere in Costa Rica, and so we don't know when we'll be able to see him again. I know he would love to come to a wedding because he likes to pick up on bridesmaids. All right, trick number 1 in. Okay, time for spicy snack number 2. These are Funyuns. They're not really onions, but they have an oniony flavor, but these are flaming hot. We're trying a flaming hot Funyun. I don't even know the last time I had a Funyun. There you go. All right, Drew, we will. I think visiting out. He does sometimes call me. So the next time he does that, yeah. Okay. Woo. I like the heat profile on these better. I'm not sure what the exact mix of peppers and spices and so forth is, but as you can see, I'm eating these a little faster. Much better flavor. If you want a spicy, hot snack, go for the Funyuns hot snack over the Lay's stacks. I can eat all these, but I have a bunch of little plastic containers that I can preserve them in. Although, why don't chip containers and cereal things have those little resealable pouches on them? I don't know. So yeah, I liked that one. I liked the Funyuns one. It had much more kind of a chicken wingy kind of flavor to it. Didn't taste anything like onions. All right, let's see what we got going on. All right. Gay Johnson. Yeah. Yeah, maybe in March I'll go to Laughlin. We'll have a boys' night out in Laughlin. Bobby G can drive us around. I'm a little afraid of Bobby. Scares me just a little bit. He should probably scare you. But yeah. So all right. So that's so yeah. I definitely recommend Flamin' Hot Funyuns for snacky goodness. We are setting at about 8:30. And some of you are still here against all odds. Like it says, there's 28 people in the chat. I have 24 thumbs up. That's pretty good. The other 4 people could go ahead and do that. That'd be great. That would be great. Mara is a big wimp on spice. I wouldn't go for the hot Funyuns then. I suspect they're a lot like the hot Cheetos, which I did not get. And my thought process on trying to find the perfect hot spicy snack is it seems like you wouldn't need nearly as many of them to sort of feel satisfied. It's too easy to like pound down a whole bag of chips sometimes. So, but if you get a nice hot one, I know they have those Pocky chips that people do YouTube challenges on. If anybody wants to send me one, I'll do it. But I don't know. I'm not going to go buy one. Did I just say I would do that? Yeah, I'll probably would. Let's see what we got going on here. We do have there will be another food adventure on next week's Wednesday show. So Mark will be in Vegas. He won't watch it anyway, so it'll be fine. All right. I guess Coco loves spicy. Oh, good, good. Gummy bear. Who's people are telling bad jokes in the chat? Oh, that's all right. I'm telling them. Okay, every other month to buy lottery. Hockey's not a fan. Okay, well, we're going to try those next. But first, I'm going to cover my most memorable trip to Las Vegas. And many of those trips have involved, well, some of those trips involved some of you all and other folks who I frequent. That means anything. But this trip goes back to September of 2013. It was my 50th birthday party. And someone on Facebook way back in the day, that was back when Facebook was cool. Yeah, I remember that far back. Had way back in like the early 2010, something like in 2010, had posted that they were going to Hawaii in like a year and a half. And I thought to myself, well, you know what? I'm going to create like an event and say that I'm going to celebrate my 50th birthday in Las Vegas in 2.5 years or whatever it would have been. And so I posted it and invited all my friends. And surprisingly, a few of them actually showed up. A kid I went to high school with and his wife drove up from San Diego. I had not seen them in 30 some years. Several people that I worked with at Walmart for varying periods of time. My friends Krista and her husband Josh, and then my friend Robin. My friends Deb and Janelle, who I had worked with pretty closely at the store for a couple of years prior to that, and they'd been interested in going to Vegas anyway. And then my friend Kevin that I went to college with. So I had someone that I went to school with at high school, someone I was close to in college, and then people that I had met at Walmart along the way. And I think sort of the main event, there were like 9 of us, which was really surprising to me that anybody actually came. But they did. I was there 6 nights and I stayed at the Rio, and it was not a bad place back then. But on the night of September the 5th, and my birthday is the 6th, and the 6th is always a bad day in Vegas because, well, because of the night before. But that night I rented a wraparound suite at the Cosmo, the VBI suite, I guess. Although we were in the, we were not in the Boulevard Tower, we were in the Chelsea Tower. We did not have a view of the fountains, but it was an extraordinary experience. We basically hung out in the room most of the night, or out on the terrace. There were a few smokers in the midst, so they were able to go outside. Myself being one of them at the time, were able to go outside and have a cigarette or whatever. I remember there was like, and I think there still is, like kind of like a little reclining couch in the room. So we were drinking and giving each other psychological examinations on the couch. So it was kind of cool. And yeah, it was a great opportunity. It was interesting because so many of the people were so very different and had not ever spent any time together. And by and large, they got along quite well, actually. Some of them even became friends after the fact. I did rent a car on this trip, though I didn't drive it around everywhere because there was alcohol involved. But did take a couple of people out to Red Rock Canyon. We also, a few people went out to Hoover Dam, got to play tour guide there. I actually went to the Pawn Stars pawn shop, which was kind of a big deal 8 years ago, I guess. Had a pretty crazy night downtown. somewhere there's a video of me dancing on Fremont Street. Fortunately, people didn't take quite as much video then as they do now, or God only knows what sort of strange videos there would be. Once in a while, maybe I'll post it again. There's kind of a blurry picture of me sort of wistfully looking over the Las Vegas skyline that's out there. My friend Robin took that picture and sent it to me. And that's a picture from that either that night or the next morning, I guess, at the Cosmo for my 50th birthday. Remember, it was unusually humid during that trip. I think what else we did. We went to the Pinball Hall of Fame, which I had never been to before. Took a couple people out there. Yes, there was also a gentleman's club involved with this. On my actual birthday, we went to the Spearmint Rhino. So that was an interesting experience and kind of a fun one. And I think all but Deb and Janelle didn't go, but Robin went, Krista and Josh went, Kevin went. So there was, yeah, we had a co-ed trip to the Rhino, and that was kind of fun. They picked us up in a big stretch limo. So trying to think what else interesting we did. But yeah, I mean, it was fun because several of the people had never been to Vegas before or had not been in quite some time. And so it was fun showing those folks around, which sometimes can be fun. Sometimes it's pain. But like I said, just because it was my 50th birthday, because it had been such an event that had been played up so far in advance, and because it actually came off really without much of a hitch, I still would put it down as my most memorable trip to Las Vegas. Let's check the chat again, since JP is falling down on the job. If we have any feedback. I did see Julian was in the house. Thanks for dropping in. Vegas Confessions podcast. Check them out for lots of quality Vegas information. A lot of people don't realize, most people don't, and there's good reason, that we do occasionally do a podcast here with Vegas Tips and Tricks. And I'm thinking about doing a series, Vegas Tips and Tricks, basically that will be kind of the Vegas Memories podcast. And we'll sort of count down my trips to Vegas over the years and kind of share what I remember. And we'll probably, like I said, if we decide to do that, I'll probably start next week. And it'll be just kind of rambling stuff, just like you just saw. But a lot of people seem to enjoy the Vegas memories, and we all have them, thankfully. And hopefully we'll all have many more to come in the years to come. So Kevin, who gets the prize tonight for joining us all the way from Dublin, become a good friend over the past few months. Welcome, Kim. Yeah, welcome, Kim S. Thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed the podcast. They're not dead. We're going to continue that. Absolutely. People are now talking to each other, which is probably good. It's probably good. What was I going to say? Yeah. Just complimenting Kevin. Has also been has joined us as a moderator in the Facebook group, 52,000 strong. Well, yeah, we'll say 52,000 strong and about a couple of hundred jerks who are slowly being weeded out. Also, I noticed Steph was here. Steph is also a mod there in the group, and we appreciate her. We also added Mo of Ernie and Mo fame. And of course, I believe we still have Vegas Best Ideas in the house. Tamara, one of our mods, and if Muffy is still in the house, Muffy, one of our mods. Not seen Andy and Simone tonight. It's a bit late for them. I know Andy had some more hospital activities today, so definitely keep the good speeds in your thoughts, and if you're so inclined, your prayers. It is a difficult journey And it's one that we can sort of step away from time to time and then remember it again. But for that wonderful couple, it is a daily fight. And I know they are also planning a trip to Vegas very soon. So that should be exciting, and certainly happy that they're going to make that trip. And I think they're planning to attend the wedding as well. So yeah, that'll be exciting. And so they're not here, but obviously Andy, one of our longtime moderators, who continues to work very hard through his illness. There we go. All right, so we have one more spicy snack to try here tonight. And this one is very famous and very controversial. The Takis Fuego. You've never had it before. I mean, these are like contraband in some schools, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. Kinos, you don't do use if the is the GoFundMe still live? If it is, if somebody wants to pop in there and donate a 10 spot, 20 spot, 1,000 spot, as the case may be, feel free to do that. Okay, the weird thing about these, like to me anyway, is that they have lime in them. This is the Taki, if you've never seen one up close and personal. Focuses reasonably well. Very crappy tablet thing. So here we go. Is this going to hurt? Let's see what we got going on here. Shoot. If I'll have to give you your link back at some point, but I can't seem to do it in the middle of the chat here. Well, maybe I can. Hold on a second. Well, look at that. I can do that. Look at that. That's how you do that. Hey, look at that. Look like a paid professional. Kevin McDonald. You're starving now. Okay, that one hits the throat. This is definitely the spiciest. No question. This is definitely the spiciest. Thank you, Gord. Appreciate it for you dropping that in for us. They need gambling money, people. It's not just about food and sustainability. It's time to get Andy a handy. Keno cannot be involved in that. Here we go. Since I know how to do this. There you go. There is the link. We'll probably leave that up for a little bit. If anyone wants to donate. If anybody's enjoying tonight's festivities. Okay, so yeah, I don't taste any lime at all. I taste heat. Kind of a corn chippy kind of consistency. Yeah, I mean, I like the spice. I like the spice. I don't know what that is. My phone alerts me every time something happens in the world. Okay, no, nothing there. Yeah, this is definitely a back of the throat heat, if you know what I mean. I also suspect this one will catch up with you more than the other two. The other two, your mouth, you would just stay hot and spicy. But I think this one would kind of be cumulative. But I like these. And I think these kind of serve the purpose that I was hoping that one of these chips would serve, or snacks would serve, and that is as a way to just get something interesting to eat, and that would sort of tantalize my tongue. You all know how much I love having my tongue tantalized. Let's see. It's supposed to be a taquito in a chip form. I guess that makes sense. So I guess Takis is the correct pronunciation. I'll have to go with Coco on that. Hey, Diana has made it in the house. Thank you for dropping in, Diana. Another one of our members here on the Vegas Tips and Tricks channel. I think she is usually almost always the first person to watch Vegas Weekly. So I think she actually watches it Friday night. So she's a very loyal supporter here of the show. Now I have a little cold beverage. So anyway, there you go. Now, I'm going to warn you. The next month, the live stream is probably going to be kind of an awards show. There won't be any nominees, so there won't be any losers, but we will probably be giving out the Vegas Tips and Trixies Awards of the year. And I'll have to come up with the really weird categories. So that should be fun. Like, you know, I miss snack time. Tom, I'm still working on the Takis. I have another one. They also have, I am getting a little bit of the lime. You have kind of a barbecue chip taste right out of the chute, you might say. Kevin and Julian having a love fest. All right. Anyway, so anyhow, so if anybody has any weird categories, Vegas related categories, I mean, we'll probably have something like vlogging moment of the year, and it's going to be tough, And we had that time that Mark dropped his wiener on the floor. That's got to be pretty high. It was that time I lost my shoe. There was those 42 times that Matt Bridger hit the bonus on the flaming happy machine. Let's see who else. What other great moments could there have been that we could talk about? Interesting. There was Mustache Dave grinding on a pole. I hear JT is back. I hadn't seen anything from him lately, but Vegas Visual says JT is back. So not sure what happened there. Not sure I really want to completely know. Biggest win. Ooh, that could be good. That's going to take like research. I'm going to have to get Vegas Visual involved. Because, yeah. So, yeah, if anybody, actually, that's a great, actually, if anybody has any moments in a vlog, I don't see everything. But if you have something that you think is really interesting, yeah. I mean, L&D, they had some high vlogging moments this year with some food-related stuff. There was that time that I ate those hot wings in a really disgusting fashion. Mark still has nightmares. But I will not include any of my own content. That wouldn't be at all fair in this case. Somebody hates the Tropicana. Maybe they'll change the name. Kevin, thank you for dropping in very, very late night, early in the morning there in Dublin. Go in peace or something. Yes, we've awakened Mark from his slumbers. Yeah, it was horrible. Maybe that could be worst moment in a. It wasn't really in Vegas, but maybe we could give Penny's worst tip of the year. That could be a category. It could be a category. All right. I've got good night or good morning, Kevin. So yeah, that's probably coming up on the next month's show, which will be about 10 days before Christmas, probably, unless we decide to stretch it to the week before Christmas. We are just a week away from American Thanksgiving, and I'm certainly thankful for many things this year. And one of them, of course, is thankful for all of you, so many of whom I had the opportunity to spend some time with this year. But even if I didn't have that opportunity, it has been enjoyable to see your many experiences in and around Vegas. Let's see what Pennies has to say here. And there you go. I think that that may be our comment of the day. And for winning comment of the day, Mark receives a trip to Vegas in just a few days. I believe Mark is going live in a couple of days. I'm sure everyone's already subscribed to Pennies for Vegas. But if not, you should. And I think he's going to do a preview of his Thanksgiving trip. So I'm sure I'll be interested to see what he thinks about Thanksgiving in America and what he decides to eat for Thanksgiving. Will he have turkey? You want a turkey? Go get one. They're in short supply. All right, I'm done with the talkies. But I like them. I like them. They're good. Yeah, I suspect so. Certainly Oklahoma has a lot of. I got my haircut this week, and there we go. I mean, I think it came out all right. Looks better than it did. I'm backwards, so I don't know how to deal with it. Whatever. There you go. There you go. Yeah. So yeah, I suspect that that would certainly be the case in Oklahoma. Certainly in the you gotta get that little back of the throat thing once in a while. Certainly down in the Southwest in general, a lot of Native Americans in the New Mexico area. I mentioned stopping in Gallup, New Mexico. That is a really interesting town. I think it is about 20 miles long and about a block wide. But, you know, they've got plenty of fast food and cheap motels here in the market. Of course, Arizona has a lot of native reservations as well. I'll tell you a story about that here just a second. But Lawrence actually has a very large native population because we have Haskell Indian Nations University. Used to be a community college, but they do offer four-year degrees. So I think something like 5% of the population of Lawrence is native because of that university. Not a lot of people, everybody knows about the University of Kansas. They don't necessarily know about Haskell. And they have like a really old stadium that is like, was probably in use 100 years ago. And I think like people like Jim Thorpe may have even played in that stadium. So definitely a Native American connection here in Lawrence. A pretty high percentage of the population. Um, and many of them joining us from places like Oklahoma, New Mexico, and Arizona. Now, Arizona is an interesting place. My young lady friend actually is currently living in Phoenix, and just about a week ago, our schedules got 1 hour closer together because Arizona does not observe daylight savings time. So during the spring and summer months, they are basically on the same time as Las Vegas or the West Coast. But within the state of Arizona, there's a very large Navajo reservation, and the Navajo Nation observes daylight savings time. So if you happen to travel into the Navajo Nation while you are inside the state of Arizona, you will be on daylight savings time. Curiously enough, within the Navajo Nation, there is a reservation of the Hopi people. And the Hopi do not observe daylight savings time. So as you drive through the Navajo Nation and pass into the Hopi Nation, once again, the time changes. Even more curiously, inside of the fairly small Hopi Nation, there is a small part of the Navajo Nation. And we know what that means. There is a state highway, I believe it's like 214 or 217 or something. And if you drive through it in the state of Arizona, within a couple of hours or so, the time will change like 6 times. So that's a little Native American and Arizona trivia. It has nothing to do with Las Vegas. But that's the kind of information that we bring you every week on the Wednesday show, along with plenty of taste tests and occasional road trips and field trips around the world. So there you go. That's our fun fact of the day. All right. Miss G's above. Let me see G's thing here. It was the live. Ooh, that's right. Yeah, that's right. There was that live pooping. All right. Okay, we're saying goodbye to Kevin. The mayor, on the floor, Diana. Happy Thanksgiving. Sorry we took you then. Okay, well, back now it'll be over $100. God, I have to think so. I think Mark said he was eating at, going to try to eat at Main Street Station. I remember. We need a Liz solo trip. That would be interesting. Liz is absolutely hilarious. If you've not had the opportunity to meet Liz and you've just met Mark, well, you really haven't met the whole Pennies for Vegas team if you haven't met Liz. She is delightful. Particularly after a few glasses of wine. She is delightful. Arizona and Saskatchewan are smart. Yeah, Saskatchewan, that's right. All right. G, like this and the rest. And there you go. Triple sevens. Yeah. So yeah, I think the talkies are making my nose run a little bit, which again is good. But no perspiration. So I have a fairly high heat tolerance. Neon Dell saying something. Let's see what Dell has to say here. Columbus Day, Tom and Mindy. Yeah. Perhaps a little bit. So yeah, I don't know what I was even talking about anymore, but we've pretty much been on this for an hour, so we'll probably start wrapping things up anyway. You people have things to do, places to go, people to meet. I see my regular chat group is talking amongst themselves in the in the upper corner of my screen. So God only knows what they're chit-chatting about. Yeah. So yeah, but yeah. Tom and Mindy. Tom had I think Tom may have caught something from Mark. They both had some health scares, it seemed, for a while, but um, Tom is, I believe, well again, which is good. I wish I'd had more opportunities to spend some time with he and his lovely bride on this past trip, but unfortunately, my body pretty much crashed shortly after they arrived. All right, let's see what we have in the chat. Otherwise, we will start to wrap up. Yes, Gord, she definitely wants to go to Vegas. Has not been. Almost moved there a few years ago instead of moving to Phoenix. Interesting thing, of course, speculating on any sort of long-term connection, talking about where we would like to live in the future. And I mentioned a desire to move back out to the west somewhere. She obviously is living there now. She said, "Well, why don't we move to Southern Nevada?" So maybe I'll end up in Vegas. The one thing about living within a couple hours of Las Vegas was that I wouldn't have to use a lot of vacation time to visit Vegas. So give me an opportunity to check out a lot of other places around the country and around the world, which I hope to do, particularly as I reach my golden years. There you go. There you go. Dropping relationship bombs. Adam Burchett in the house. Must have awakened from his pennies-inspired nap. All right. What are we doing now? It looks like I tried to kill somebody here. Okay, Vegas best ideas. Yes, well, yeah, she describes herself as shy. I don't get that, but she has resigned herself to the fact that at some point, if she goes to Vegas, she will meet a lot of my friends. She's under the illusion that I am popular, so please don't disavow her of that. I'm actually learning how to do that. But they always, whatever. But yeah, so there we go. Wedding. Yeah, there could be. I'm trying to get her there in March, but she is literally moving back to Kansas about a week or so prior to that. Not directly here in Lawrence, but close by, and so it is. What do you call it? So it may not be a good time at that point, but we shall see. In any case, all right. Yeah. Well, I don't think, I do not believe that necessarily it would be Vegas per se. Thinking about moving to, how about Pahrump? Sounds like a pretty cool place. And if the relationship doesn't pan out, there's plenty of legal brothels nearby. Yeah, that one goes over well. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you for pretending I'm popular. Thank you, Adam, for the super chat. As always, not at all necessary, but very kind of you to continue to support the channel. Yeah, she has seen me eat. We have not seen each other in a few years, but we worked together for a couple of years, and so it is not a blind situation, shall we say. We have been around one another in the real world, shall we say. Let's see what we've got going on here. If you share. That Mark, what a guy. Love Mark. So I missed the sort of daily Mark and Liz at the trailer videos. Those were like a keystone of my spring and summer. wondering just what sort of strange thing would be happening at the trailer that day. It's like I have no touchstone in my life anymore. So I had to try to find a girlfriend once the Mark Anderson and Liz vlogs disappeared. I don't know. Yeah, ours. Yeah, that mesquite might be nice. It really doesn't look that nice when I've driven through it. Yeah, there you go. That's right. More hashtag more Mark. Never heard. No one's ever said that before. He might even wake up again. Ah, looks like we actually might be finding out. It's like maybe in 6 weeks or so we might see another VBI trip to Vegas. So we shall see. All right, we're at an hour and 7 minutes, and of course, for those of you who in the know, I was here about 10 minutes before that, chit-chatting. So unless anybody has any additional questions or donations, probably start wrapping this thing up here. Let's see what we got going on here. Oh my goodness. I don't know. Perhaps before I go, anybody who's here, do you have any advice for seeking Vegas sunrise? Meeting Mark for the first time? What's your best piece of advice for a person meeting Mark for the first time? You got to think. Kino's got something to say about this. More cheese. I'll be right back. I'm not going to pee. Right. Back for the wrap up here. A little more coffee in the house. Hide your beer. Let's see what the advice is. Don't expect him to pick up the tab. Whatever someone may say along the way, do not expect Mark to pick up the tab. That is, I think, very good advice. Yeah, you can't even see my face anymore. Take your beer. Okay. And step back in the house. Talk to him on the phone. He doesn't talk much in person. Interesting. That's an interesting point. Mark is actually pretty quiet unless he's narrating a video. And it might be surprising to people. And I know most people, probably most of you, have spent a decent amount of time with Mark, but he's very serious about his vlogging and his Twitter. He's always doing something. So it's those who say he does not have a full-time job, well, he doesn't, but he does do a lot of pennies for Vegasing at all times. Yes, he is. Mark is bigger than you think he is. I think that's important to note. Yes, he is bigger and stronger and heavier, I can say from personal experience, than you think he is. I think that is definitely the case. Yeah. So, so I think those are some important. If you buy him a Caesar, he will like you a lot. He is taller. And there's kind of an illusion because both he and Liz are bigger people. You think, oh, look, he's about the same size as his wife, but she's also very tall. Um, so it creates a bit of an illusion there, I think. Yeah. I'm probably shrinking. Otherwise, I'm pretty much exactly 6 feet tall. Exactly. Yeah, Steph is not so tall. Um, we lost Kevin and Jen. Otherwise, Kevin's wife, or might as well be, life partner. Jen's pretty small. I don't know who's smaller, Jen or Steph. Yeah. He spends most of his time sitting down or lying down, so it's easy to miss that piece of it. But yeah, Norma might be the smallest person I've ever met. I've not had the pleasure. Norma dyed her hair blonde last night. You haven't seen the video. I actually watched part of it before I fell asleep. I don't know who's the tallest person. Ace seems like he's really tall, but maybe it's just because he's so slender. Because he always wears those suits that make him look tall. I don't know if he's that tall. Yeah, Blair is not very tall. No offense, Blair. Um, Lee seems like a pretty tall guy. You never really noticed this stuff until just now. It's never occurred to me. You watched Norma last night, yeah. Or you watched her roommate friend talk about her misadventures with men. Yeah. Oh, Lord Gord. Yeah. Hey, if you're just loving this nightly chitter chatter, I do know that our good friend Mr. PJ is back with a nightly vlog all the way, or not, it's a nightly, what do you call it, lounge all the way through Christmas. So if you get bored or lonely or just want to chat with some like-minded people, I don't know. He's probably doing it right now, but if not, I'm sure he will. A lot of people know that supposedly that I have the oldest Vegas vlog. Not everybody knows that our friend Dell, Neon Vacation, is, I think, credited as the #2 oldest vlog. God only knows if he'd had a camera when he was in high school, he'd have us all beaten rather severely about the head and shoulders. Yeah, Dell has confided in me he has a lot of really cool stories, but he can't share them with everyone. So I'm still counting on a meetup over a few beers in which I will get to hear some of those stories. All right. Yeah, I think perhaps we could all bleach our hair blonde in solidarity with Norma. Is that a thing? Hashtag save Norma. Yeah. I remember watching her vlog when she had about 400 or 500 subscribers and thought it was pretty good. I remember leaving a comment saying, "Hey, you're doing really good work here. Good luck with this." And then, a week later, she already had passed my subscriber number, and a month later, she had 5,000, 10,000. Obviously, she's very cute, very perky, great personality on camera, but by all accounts, works very hard and is very much a perfectionist in terms of putting her videos together. I don't watch a lot of the local channels. A lot of them seem to me it's a lot of live streaming all the time. Certainly had an interesting one the other night with the other me getting detained, shall we say. But I don't watch a lot of those, but I do watch, I probably end up watching about half of hers because she does feature a lot of stuff of interest to both locals and tourists, I guess. All right, I'm going to do one more flip through the snap here. Oh yeah, I know who you're talking about, and yeah, she's a much older lady, and I say that at this point I'm a much older lady, but and I can't think of the name of the vlog, but she's done some interesting stuff, but I really haven't seen anything from her in the last year, so I don't know what's considered active, but anyway. All right. Yep, absolutely agree. All right. It's 9:17. We've been doing this more or less for an hour and a half. And as I said earlier, y'all have things to do. If not, like I said, PJ's probably got a vlog or a lounge if you want to go hang out and chit chat with people. There's probably somebody else live. I don't know. I think Say Hi is going to Vegas again in a couple of days. So he's probably live again with a countdown. But thank you all for dropping by today. Just chit-chatting with little old me. And hopefully the next time I'm in Vegas, which we all know will be March, have an opportunity to meet up with some of you that I haven't and meet up again with some of you that I have. So, all right. So until next time, to Neil and Kevin and all the other folks across the ocean, as well as those in our nation to the north. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee. And to all of my friends here around the US of A, have a good night. We will see you all on Saturday for Vegas Weekly. Until then, hope you have a great, lucky, and healthy week. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.